Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm here with Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins to provide the second of our two weekly coronavirus update reports. What's happening here in Westchester County regarding coronavirus. The infections continue to drop fairly dramatically here in Westchester County. We've discussed perhaps having a weekly report like this, maybe in the month of June, if we continue to see the numbers go down to a very low number and stay at that very low number. So hopefully that will be what we look forward to. As of today's report, the New York State tracker is up, and the numbers that we receive from there show that we have 782 active cases of coronavirus countywide, 782. When I last reported to you on Monday, at that point we had 922 cases. So we have 140 less aggregate cases in the 3 days since we were last before you. A week ago today we had 1,182 cases, and 2 weeks ago today we had 1,742 cases. We're down today to 782 active cases across the totality of Westchester County. To give you an idea of how small the new infections are, yesterday 7,701 people were tested for coronavirus. Only 57 positives were recorded. So 57 positives out of 7,700 tests is less than 1% positive rate of all of the people tested. We had many days we stood here where we had numbers that were in the high single digits, approaching 10% in the peak of the rise of the infection in either of the two rises that we had back in early 2020 and then later in the fall of 2021, part of the fall of 2020. But the bottom line is the numbers are very low now, and they're continuing to drop day after day, which is a very good sign. We haven't had any blips that have changed directions. We have 58 people who were hospitalized for coronavirus anywhere in the county. Today, that number a week ago was 72 people, and 2 weeks ago was 115 people. So in the space of 2 weeks, we've gone from 115 people hospitalized for coronavirus down to 58. That is a good sign. That is, as I've often said, the depth of the infection. And we had no fatalities overnight last night. We've had a totality of 5 fatalities over the course of the last week, totaling 2,270 people that have died from coronavirus. 5 within a week is a very low number. It's still a tragedy for the people who've lost loved ones, and we never want to reduce that factor in our minds. As we look at our vaccination numbers, they continue to rise. We've vaccinated well over 500,000 Westchester residents, and we are approaching the high 50 percentile numbers with at least one coronavirus vaccine of some sort. That's an important number for us, and now that we've opened it up, we'll talk about it in a few seconds, for young people. The available number of people yet to be vaccinated has grown, and we have a chance now to raise those numbers above the 60% range. With the amount of vaccine that is now available in so many different locations, including at some pharmacies, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has announced that the Yonkers Armory site for vaccinations will be closing on May 25th. That's just a short time from now. And that was the other large facility in addition to the county center. The county center facility will continue to operate 7 days a week, 11 hours a day, but the Yonkers Armory facility will be closing on the 25th. As of today, they've issued 68,400 vaccinations. That is the second largest single location of vaccinations in Westchester County. Our 2 clinics in White Plains and at the community college have vaccinated 54,180 doses. And the county center, of course, which has been going the longest and has the greatest capacity, 269, almost 270,000 vaccines authorized and issued, for a total of in about 400,000, round numbers, 400,000 from the 4 major clinics, and over 500,000 of all the people that have been vaccinated in the county. We have school clinics that are ongoing next week. We've had some of them this week, yesterday, last night. I was at Dobbs Ferry High School, where Dobbs Ferry, Ardsley, and a couple of the other river towns schools were able to pool young people eligible Pfizer vaccinations, age 12, 13, 14, 15, up to age 16. And there were 100 some odd doses that were administered last night in Dobbs Ferry. And we have a number of other places that are coming up. White Plains at the Highland Middle School will be next Tuesday. We have the Croton School District and the Henrik Hudson School Districts will be vaccinating on Wednesday at Croton High School, New Rochelle High School, and the high school gym Thursday and Friday of next week. The Yonkers School District is an ongoing effort for vaccination. Yonkers is a huge district, has 27,000 students in the aggregate, which is far more than any other district in Westchester County. And they're doing this on an ongoing basis, working with Empress and other organizations. And there is a community clinic coming up both this weekend and on Monday at the Salvation Army site in Portchester on Bush Avenue, Saturday 10 to 4, and on Monday from 3 to 7:30 in the evening. And there's some incentive. Free gift bags will be authorized as well at that point in time. But all of those satellite locations, pop-up locations, if you will, complement the fact that we're still giving vaccinations out at the 2 county clinics and at the county center. And even with the closing of the Armory still has another few days left to go before they complete their run. I think they close on Tuesday of next week. So with those now school clinics, we're trying to reach that particular constituency, and we're encouraged that the increased vaccination is probably far away the single largest reason why we have such a low positive rating in all of the testing that's going on. We've talked a little bit about the mask policy as New York State has issued it for all of us. New York State has adopted the CDC new mask and social distancing guidance, started officially as of yesterday. It is underway today. Masks are still required in certain very specific settings. They're required on public transit. So if you get on a Beeline bus, you must have a mask on. Doesn't matter if you've been vaccinated. For public transit, you must have a mask on. If you're in a nursing home, if you're in a homeless shelter, a correctional facility, the county jail is a requirement. Schools and other healthcare facilities, all of this is established as specific places where there is greater likelihood of spread of virus or greater vulnerability of the people that are there, and so therefore the mask requirement continues. But the mask requirement has been lifted in almost every other situation for those people who have been vaccinated twice and have gone through the 2-week period after the second dosage. Private venues can still impose their own rules as they see fit. That means any business, any institution, whether public institution, private institution, not-for-profit, religious institution, can make a mask requirement if they so choose. But it is not required by the state of New York, so that becomes then an individual decision. That executive order was placed back in April of 2020. That has been lifted by the action of the governor earlier this week. Generally speaking, and I think it's just common sense, people who are immunocompromised or unvaccinated should continue to wear masks and socially distance. You are still eligible to get the disease if you're unvaccinated. You're still eligible to spread the disease. And if you immediately assume because the people around you are not wearing masks that you cannot wear a mask knowing that you're unvaccinated, then you're putting other people at risk. It's as simple as that. For your own convenience and pleasure, you are putting other people at risk. As we mentioned before, there's some information that you may want to find out for Beeline buses as a tie-in to the mask policy. You can check it out on westchestergov.com/Beeline bus, all one run-on word. Now we've got some additional pop-ups that are coming. The state has established some that are going to be at airports. So I've asked Ken Jenkins, please cover what's happening around the state at airports.
Thanks, Judge. New York State announced today that there'll be 7 new pop-up vaccination sites, satellite sites as we call them, at airports in New York City, White Plains, Albany, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo. Those sites are going to be open for walk-in vaccinations on a first-come, first-served basis. They'll be utilizing the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And this new program to bring the vaccine to more convenient locations, to more New Yorkers, to reach folks that are coming into the country and traveling from other states, builds up on the recently launched successful pilot program that happened at the MTA stations, which we had that in Ossining. The sites are going to be open starting from Monday, May 24th to Friday, May 28th, right before the holiday weekend. So for those of us that have family members and children that are coming back from college and they didn't get a chance to get that vaccination on site there, they'll have an opportunity to fly into one of the airports, including JFK, LaGuardia, and certainly Westchester County Airport. So take advantage of those opportunities in the walk-in pop-up locations for Johnson & Johnson at our airports. Thanks a lot, George.
Thanks very much, Ken. So just to summarize, we'll see if there are any questions that we have that we may have received from any members of the media. But very simply, the numbers are down. They continue to drop, 782 active cases, low level of hospitalizations, relatively low level of fatalities, rising levels of vaccinations as we approach the upper 50 percentile range of people that have had at least one shot, if not both shots. The state lifting certain parameters of percentages on availability for events and activities, which open up more activities for us. A reminder that you should wear a mask if you're unvaccinated or you're immunocompromised. You do not have to wear a mask outside, socially distanced already. Use your common sense, and you'll find that we can start to open up the society even more, a little bit day by day. I'm told we have no questions from the press. They can certainly reach out to us. And of course, tonight we'll have our annual State of the County message. That'll be at 7 o'clock. It'll be broadcast here on our Facebook Live option. And of course, you'll be able to see it. If you can't see it exactly at 7 o'clock, the tape of it will be available for you to watch at your convenience. It'll also be broadcast live on News 12. So if you're a News 12 subscriber, you'll be able to see it on cable TV at 7 o'clock tonight, assuming there isn't more interesting programming on another channel. So I'm George Latimer. Thank you for tuning in. We're scheduled to give you your next update on Monday at 2 o'clock coming up. And we'll hopefully continue to see good numbers. They've been terrific, and we hope they continue to just drop. And we really start to see the end of this pandemic, and hopefully we can get back to normal, which means that we can tackle some of the many other issues that we've been unable to do quite so effectively because of the coronavirus outbreak. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.